Hey, what is up, Pokemon fans? We have an awesome series for you guys today. It is going to be a best of five between the U.S. and Germany. You can see our players are already jumping into battle, and I'm Justin Flynn. I'm here with Dwee. Awesome. What is up, Dwee?
Hey, not much, man. I'm pretty excited for this. USA and Germany probably two of the biggest powerhouses of the Pokemon community right now. So, gonna be great to see five of the best players from the US and five of the best players from Germany go head to head.
Yeah, now on your screen, of course, you'll see the two-player names, BattleRoom and Porengan, but I want to make sure you guys know who we're talking about. On the left there is Collin Hire, and on the right was Nemanja Sandik.
Yeah, Collin Hire really one of the best players in the country right now. He's rolling pretty hot, and you can definitely expect to see him do well at nationals. Of course, he's still pretty new. I believe he just started on the scene last year, and Nemanja, of course, also pretty relatively new. Just only one VGC tournament under his belt, but he top four German nationals with a really interesting team. So really excited to see what he's going to bring today.
Yeah, they're both definitely having a really, really strong 2014, so I'm excited to see this match now. As soon as it clears up there, looks like we have an interesting team here from Nemanja. He's leading with that. Well, not leading, we don't know yet, actually, but he's brought the Raichu. We see Gyarados, the villain, Aerodactyl, Meowstic, as well as Bisharp there. And then from Collin, we can't see his team on screen, but he's got a Reuniclus, Mawile, Hydreigon, Garchomp, Rotom, Wash, and Chandelure.
Yeah, both players using teams that they're both really familiar with. Nemanja using a team that's really probably similar to his German nationals team with the Raichu, Vivillon, and Gyarados, where really all he tries to do is just get as much support for Gyarados as he can and try to set up Gyarados to get Dragon Dances under his belt, while Collin using a team that's really not that popular in the United States right now. Trick Room is a kind of a team niche that I didn't really expect to see much of at all coming into regionals or anything like that, but he's done so well with that team.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dwee. Trick Room, it kind of started out big and then it kind of went away, but I haven't seen much of it lately, but Collin seems to be using it, and there we see him right there in the reflection. Collin seems to be bringing it back a little bit, but only using it in certain situations.
Yeah, I mean, Collin plays the Trick Room teams really well. Reuniclus, of course, being the Trick Room setter, and he kind of has a really good reign of control over how the Pokemon are going to be able to move in turn.
All right, it looks like the battle is about to start. Let's see what both trainers decide to lead with today. And Nemanja throwing out his two Pokemon there. It looks like I'm getting a little bit of lag, but as soon as it clears up, I will let you know who we have. All right, I'm seeing a Bisharp as well as Raichu, and then from Collin, he's leading with that Reuniclus as well as the Hydreigon.
Yeah, Bisharp and Raichu, of course, Raichu becoming really popular nowadays because of its Fake Out and Encore support and the fact that its Lightning Rod ability draws away lightning type attacks. Collin going with Reuniclus and Hydreigon, of course, Reuniclus, the Trick Room setter, and going to be interesting to see what he's going to be able, what he's going to decide to do this turn. Is he going to set up Trick Room so that maybe his Pokemon can move before Raichu, or what's exactly going to happen? Of course, Hydreigon threatens that Bisharp with a fire type attack, and of course, Hydreigon in general just hits really hard. Hydreigon, one of the Pokemon that is not really that's risen in popularity.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Hydreigon, but he's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence recently. Now, I think it all comes down to whether or not he can get this Trick Room up. That Raichu could really threaten with the Fake Out and really delay his plans.
Yeah, definitely.
There it is. And he fakes out. Hydreigon doesn't want to lose that Bisharp early. And we see Assurance. Nice. Big follow-up there after his partner attack. So Assurance doing tons of damage and really hurting that Reuniclus.
Yeah, Bisharp really is just one Pokemon that hits like a truck.
But the Trick Room does still go up. I hope this plays into Collin's plans.
Yeah, great play by Collin's side to get up that Trick Room. Of course, Raichu threatening with really fast moves, but at the same time, Raichu isn't really well known for being able to hit Hydreigon. But yeah, Bisharp definitely going to be able to still move under Trick Room though with that priority Sucker Punch that it has, and definitely threatens that Reuniclus still, despite the fact that Reuniclus is probably the slowest Pokemon on the field.
I'm seeing Collin move really fast. It looks like he has his whole game planned out already.
Yeah, definitely. Collin, really great player. That's probably why he's moving so fast.
That's true. Now he's really used to this team. Actually, he's used it in I think the last 2 regionals that he was in.
Yeah, he used it to great success in both regionals that he played with. The top cut both regionals and did really, really well. And the more comfortable you are with the team, the better you'll do with it.
Now, I do believe I saw a Psychic hit that Raichu there, and I'm not sure how much damage it did. I got a little touch of lag there, and we see the big Volt switch. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's Volt. I think that was a Volt tackle from Raichu, possibly, and the flamethrower onto Bisharp there. I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't see what it was. There was a little bit of a delay there. But the big flamethrower going to take out Bisharp in one shot.
Yeah, great play by Collin there to target down the Bisharp. Gonna bring Raichu down to the red, so really, really good plays by Collin.
All right, now we see Gyarados in for Nemanja, intimidating both of Collin's Pokemon. And a switch as well from Collin, bringing in that Mawile. And the Psychic again on the Raichu. Sorry, guys, if I'm losing my stream just a little bit there. I'm going to refresh. And I believe that Raichu's going to fall to that Psychic. There it is. Raichu going back to its trainer, Nemanja. And Gyarados Dragon Dancing, setting up there.
Yeah, Gyarados doing what Gyarados really needs to do. Just get that set up as much as possible. Dragon Dance is going to give a +1 and a +1 to attack and speed. Going to make it really fast in Trick Room, but at the same time, it's going to get the attack boost, which it so desperately needs.
All right, so we do see the Vivillon from Nemanja, and Collin getting ready to choose his moves. He's on fire. Look at that. Look at that stylus go. he's not wasting any time.
Collin realizing what exactly he needs to do to get secure this victory for himself.
All right, and let's see what moves we got coming up here from both competitors. Vivillon protecting, nice. Gyarados protect as well, getting a scout off there. I like that play from Nemanja.
Yeah, good play. One of the good things to do for playing against Trick Room at all is just count Trick Room turns to make sure that when is Trick Room exactly going to expire. Gyarados definitely does not want to try to move right now with that +1 speed boost in Trick Room. And Vivillon is also a pretty fast Pokemon too. Going to try to stall out some Trick Room turns this turn, and hopefully, that one turn of double protecting will actually allow Nemanja to be able to survive this next turn and outstall Trick Room, and so that way Gyarados can start wreaking havoc on the rest of Collin's team if Nemanja is actually going to be able to make this comeback.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dwee. He might even lose Reuniclus if he doesn't pull him out on this particular turn here.
Yeah, of course, Reuniclus might want to stay in just to deal as much damage as it can before it goes down. But of course, Reuniclus is really important as a Trick Room setter. But at that low health, Gyarados or Vivillon might just be able to knock out Reuniclus before it can set up another Trick Room.
Yeah, it's most likely much safer to get the switch in, the free switch, if Reuniclus falls.
One thing that Reuniclus does have going for it right now is that its ability Overcoat could actually prevent Vivillon from using Sleep Powder, but of course Reuniclus can run so many different abilities because it has so many good abilities that it's kind of a hard thing to choose. Of course, it could always be running Regenerator as well. But yeah, definitely one thing that Nemanja needs to do is stall out this Trick Room.
All right, so we do see a big Psychic going down the double up on Vivillon. He gets the feint. Vivillon going back to its trainer, Nemanja. That was a huge turn there for Collin, and another Dragon Dance. Uh-oh, Gyarados not messing around.
Yeah, really interesting to see that Gyarados is willing to get up 2 Dragon Dances. +1, just 1 Dragon Dance already is a pretty good amount to have, but I guess never hurts to have more. Gyarados, of course, now at +2 in both attack and speed. Going to be able to do a lot of work, but at the same time, right now it's Gyarados versus 4 Pokemon. Gyarados isn't going to enjoy that too much because, of course, Gyarados will not be able to have any really sort of recovery, in my opinion, to try to get back health. As long as Collin continues the offensive pressure on that Gyarados is probably going to fall within the next few turns, and Nemanja really just needs to try to figure out as much information as he can about the rest of Collin's team if he wants to have a shot in the rest of this best of 3.
Yeah, very true. It's a best of 5 between all the competitors, but each match, each set of matches will be a best of 3. So there's always time to turn it around.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised right now if Nemanja is trying to look at what exactly he can do. Gyarados, of course, is probably the star of his team, so he's definitely going to need to try to figure out how he can better set up Gyarados and probably even prevent Trick Room from happening in the first place.
All right, Mold Breaker from Gyarados, helping hand to the Mawile. Look out. There's the big EQ, or the big Earthquake, I should say. Probably going to do a lot of damage. Is it enough? Yes, the feint on Reuniclus. But Mawile getting off a play rough. That might be enough to do it. And Gyarados falls as well. Going back to his trainer is Gyarados. Great first match there from Collin. Really taking a commanding lead, but that doesn't mean that Nemanja didn't get a bunch of information and is going to turn this around.
Yeah, that Mawile really hits like a truck, if you ask me. And one of the biggest things that Nemanja really has to do is just try to prevent Trick Room coming up so that Nemanja can, of course, keep that momentum going for him. Gyarados, of course, probably the star of his team. We just showed that Gyarados is the Mega. Got to try to find a way to stop Trick Room. That's the biggest thing. Wouldn't be surprised to see either Bisharp try to come in to knock it out in one hit, or maybe next time Nemanja might try to target that fake out towards the Reuniclus itself to prevent Trick Room from coming up that first turn. Aerodactyl can also help too by either having Taunt or Skydrop, but I'm pretty sure Collin knows how to play Trick Room so well that he can probably get around all this prevention that Nemanja is trying to think up. So great plays by Collin on that part, and really Nemanja now back against the wall, going to have to try to figure out what he can do to prevent Collin from being able to steamroll him pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dwee. I think that Collin might not have to change anything up for this match. I mean, it worked out really well for him. It's going to be all up to Nemanja to decide whether or not he's going to lead with some different Pokemon or just bring different team members in general.
I mean, when Collin's been using this team for like so many different tournaments now that he pretty much probably knows the ins and outs of it, and he knows what it can do, what its strengths are, what its weaknesses are. Nemanja did take this team all the way to the top 4 of Germany Nationals, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nemanja also has a way to deal with Trick Room. But again, Trick Room isn't really a team that's really popular these days. Trick Room, of course, I think is still personally very strong, as we just saw how Collin pretty much picked apart Nemanja's team, but Nemanja gonna have to go back to the drawing board. Really, again, the key thing for him to do is to just prevent Trick Room from coming up.
All right, I think we're waiting for our competitors to get into the battle here. Just got about 50 seconds left. It looks like Collin might already be locked in, but I think Nemanja is definitely taking his time on this one. Has a couple Pokemon out there that we haven't seen yet, like you said, the Aerodactyl or the Meowstic. Is there anything this Meowstic could do to help him in this next match? Having that prankster ability, maybe getting a little bit of priority, even if Trick Room's is set up there?
Yeah, Meowstic could do a couple things. It could, of course, do the popular thing of swaggering Reuniclus.
What's swagger? Is that a thing that's popular?
That is actually a very popular thing. And, of course, Meowstic, if he really wants to go and be gutsy, he can Thunder Wave his own Pokemon just to slow them down. But that's really a situational spot that he'd be put in.
Well, we do see the actual Aerodactyl come out here for Nemanja as well as the Raichu, so he does want to get that fake out off most likely on that Reuniclus this time. Collin going with the same exact lead.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not broken, why change it, right? It clearly worked last game, and now Collin's going to try to see what he can do here. Aerodactyl, of course, really popular Pokemon right now, even though it's so frail. Not really known for running its Mega Evolution, but at the same time, Skydrop is so good because it can just pick up one Pokemon and really take it out of the game for one turn. But the downside is the next turn it's going to come down, and Aerodactyl is actually going to be pretty vulnerable, as well as not knowing exactly what the other Pokemon can do.
Yeah, especially with these 2 slower Pokemon on the field, they'll definitely get a hit off on him.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, looks like Collin is locked in. Nemanja still looking over the moveset there. Is it going to come down to shutting down that Reuniclus?
I personally think it was. Reuniclus was really the problem Pokemon last time. Being able to set up Trick Room is really, really just a good thing to do for him.
Now we do see the fake out. It's exactly what we talked about. And the Dragon Pulse, though, from Hydreigon there. Boom! Massive damage to Raichu. And a Rock Slide. Oh, no! We get a dodge on the Rock Slide there by Hydreigon. And Reuniclus flinches, of course, from that fake out.
Yeah, the fact that Hydreigon moved before Aerodactyl shows that Hydreigon is actually Choice Scarfed. Really, I think what Collin's leads really do is Hydreigon is there kind of as a really fast hitter, so that Hydreigon can probably get rid of a threat of some sort, and then Reuniclus can easily set up Trick Room, and then at that point Hydreigon is either switched out so that Trick Room can come up and Trick Room can be used to sweep the rest of the opponent's team, or Hydreigon can come back in later and just be fast, and it's kind of this thing where you have this balance between speed tiers.
All right, so we did see the feint on both of those Pokemon there, and Hydreigon going with a big Dragon Pulse, not quite enough. Or I'm sorry, I missed that. The Sky Drop went down on Reuniclus. My feed cut out for a second there, and I saw no Pokemon. All right, and I'm seeing the Dragon Pulse again. It's 2 Dragon Pulses. How is that possible to do it twice in one time? Okay, I see Assurance as well from Bisharp there, so big damage there, Reuniclus, seeing the threat and getting rid of it.
Yeah, definitely a good play by Nemanja's side to get rid of that Reuniclus. Now, the Trick Room part of the team might be a bit weakened.
And we see the Rotom coming in there for Collin, and Bisharp barely holding on with just a sliver of health.
Yeah, Bisharp really showing off how great it is. Bisharp, not really a Pokemon that I thought would be too popular this year. I didn't really think that Dark typing was actually a very good type to hit, but now with the resurgence in Aegislash and I guess now Trick Room with what Collin's bringing back, Bisharp definitely going to pay off if any player does, and it definitely paid off there for Nemanja.
Yeah, now, and Bisharp's been huge. He was an early metagame changer. There we go. There is a Sucker Punch. Of course, with that Defiant ability, he was really, really strong in that metagame. He does feint himself, though, I believe, to a Life Orb there, and a Dragon Pulse going down from Hydreigon onto that Aerodactyl. How much damage is it going to do? Takes him into the yellow, about 1/3 life left. However, a big Sky Drop onto Rotom there. Well, we won't be seeing Rotom for a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying, the fact that the Pterodactyl just brought up a washing machine into the sky and is actually probably going to drop it, but
that's a strong Aerodactyl there.
Yeah, good turn there to get the Sky Drop off, but at the same time, next turn when Rotom comes down, it's just going to be able to easily knock out the Aerodactyl with a Thunderbolt of its own. So really showing off why Sky Drop's good and why Sky Drop can be kind of bad at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dwee. Now, it looks like it's going to be the MVP for Nemanja there. He's bringing in Gyarados. That's, of course, his Mega. But the switch into Mawile from Collin there, the Intimidate, going to lower its attack by 1 stage. All right, Mega getting set up. Now switching its type as well there.
Yeah, going to be Water and Dark.
All right, we see the Sky Drop happen. Is it going to be enough to get rid of Rotom? Oh, no, it doesn't do much damage at all. He was freed from the Sky Drop. Gyarados, Earthquake. All right, I'm actually seeing the Sky Drop again right now. So Sky Drop happens, and Gyarados goes with the Earthquake. It doesn't affect the Aerodactyl, of course, because of the Flying type. But it will hit the Rotom and gets rid of him. Nice call there. So Rotom, no hit back onto that Aerodactyl there, and Mawile taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, great, beautiful play by Nemanja. I didn't even see that coming, and I'm the one here that's supposed to be analyzing this game. But Earthquake from Gyarados able to hit because of that Mold Breaker and doing a lot of damage to Mawile at the same time. That was a pretty good switch though on Collin's part to get in that Mawile to kind of get off and intimidate. But right now Mawile's going to be stuck in there, and Gyarados, of course, is going to be able to threaten with that Earthquake. And of course, that Earthquake's also going to be able to hit Hydreigon as well because of the Mold Breaker, and Hydreigon will not be able to get away from that. Really, really good play by Nemanja there, and Nemanja actually takes the 3-2 lead. Going to be interesting to see what Hydreigon decides to do here, because Gyarados is actually kind of a big threat right now because it can threaten that Mawile, even without needing that Dragon Dance boost. So really, really good play by Nemanja. I really, really like that play.
Yeah, it was a solid turn there. Now the question is, who's faster, Hydreigon or Gyarados at this point? He didn't. I don't believe that Nemanja got a Dragon Dance up, so this choiced Hydreigon might actually be faster. I believe that we discovered that he has a scarf on there.
Yeah, definitely.
So he was carrying Dragon Pulse, which could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to target down the Aerodactyl.
Yeah, that could be the more annoying Pokemon in this situation, especially with Skydrop still available.
Yeah. Uh,
There it goes. Looks like we're about to see the turn here. All right, Mawile going Mega from Collin. Oh, I love that Mega too. I just grew another head. And Gyarados protects. Nice call on the Gyarados there, or nice call by Nemanja there to protect his Gyarados. Dragon Pulse, yes, going down. And I see a Raichu come out actually. There it is. I'm sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit of a delay here, so a couple things I might miss there. The Raichu jumps into the battle here. I'm guessing that Dragon Pulse went down on the Aerodactyl like you had suggested.
yes, it did, and we see Raichu now come in for the fallen Aerodactyl. Right now it is currently 2-on-2. I really still like Nemanja's position. The fact that the Gyarados threatens both Pokemon is really a good sign for Nemanja, and the fact that he got rid of Reuniclus early definitely paid off because now Mawile is going to be slower than every Pokemon on the field and will be moving last.
All right, just waiting for my video here to catch up, guys. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit behind anybody. Leading Dwee's probably like, "Where's the move? It's happening! It's happening!" All right, we're still waiting. They're staring each other down. This is a pretty serious. It's pretty serious right here, Dwee.
Yeah, it's actually really big turn right now. Gyarados needs to figure out a way that it can get rid of that Hydreigon. Gyarados not really having the typing to take on Hydreigon. Of course, that Earthquake will still be able to do a good amount of damage, but at the same time, that Hydreigon will also be able to do a bit of damage. That Raichu, of course, with that fake out pressure is pretty good positioning right now for Nemanja. Of course, we all know that Hydreigon is now choice locked into Dragon Pulse. So Raichu would not be surprised to see if Raichu decided to fire off that fake out into Hydreigon, but at the same time, Gyarados doesn't really have much that it can do right now. If it decides to Earthquake, Raichu is going to be the one that also gets knocked out, and that would leave Gyarados versus most likely just Hydreigon on the field, and that'd be a very interesting way to see the battle end. Gyarados versus Hydreigon, kind of like an old school RBY.
All right, like you said, the Dragon Pulse does happen. He actually targets the Raichu there, taking him down to one Pokemon, and we saw the fake out from Raichu onto Mawile. A Dragon Dance, though, really trying to get set up here. I wonder if he'll outspeed at this point.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that play. That's a pretty bold play by Nemanja's part to not just go for the safe fake out on Hydreigon. But, I mean, getting that Dragon Dance is pretty good. Negates that one Intimidate drop that happened earlier in the game. Gonna still be underspeeding Hydreigon, I believe. And that Earthquake will be able to do a bit more damage, but at the same time, Hydreigon will probably be able to fire off 2 Dragon Pulses before Gyarados can even move twice.
Yeah, now I just caught a quick move here. It looks like the Mawile as well as the Gyarados both protected, and the Hydreigon I think went with the Dragon Pulse there, so we're already into the next turn really fast. It looks like, and it looks like we also saw the feint on the Mawile. Gyarados protecting again. This is it. This is the turn. All right, Dragon Pulse is into a protect. Collin lightning fast. They both know what they want to do, it looks like. All right, just waiting for this turn to happen here. Sorry, and again, I'm not sure if you guys see it on your end. I just am getting a touch of lag on my feed. But I do still see Hydreigon and Gyarados staring each other down, ready to make their moves.
Yeah, we saw how much damage that Earthquake did to Hydreigon at 0 attack stat changes. And that is not even 50% to Hydreigon, so Hydreigon going to be able to move twice right now before Gyarados can even move twice. So Hydreigon definitely in control right now, and Collin really looks like he has it sealed up, barring an unfortunate critical hit, really.
That's true, but he does get a Dragon Dance up. Gyarados barely holding on with probably less than 10 HP there. That is intense. I don't know. A Dragon Dance again? Is this going to be enough to do it? That's pretty crazy. And will he outspeed now? Guess he's just buying time at this point. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. I cannot believe he survived. I can't believe this turn. I'm so excited. I want to see what's going to happen right now.
Yeah, right now it all comes down to how much damage this Earthquake's going to do if if critical hit happens or not. Really, Nemanja holding in on like the barely just hanging in there to stay in this and keep the hope alive for Team Germany right now. Gyarados, of course, going to have to fire off an Earthquake into the Hydreigon. Right now at +1, going to have to see how much damage this does. Of course, now with that +2 speed boost, it's going to be able to outspeed that Scarf Hydreigon. So it all comes down to how much damage this Earthquake really does.
Yeah, that is going to be it. I do believe it will outspeed as well. How did he hold on is the question. The EQ, or the Earthquake, there it is, 107 HP, down to 0. No way! Nemanja gets the win and takes it to a Game 3, I believe. Oh my gosh! That was intense,
That was amazing, and some of those moves that I questioned by Nemanja definitely paid off. Getting up that second Dragon Dance was pretty crucial in the fact that that Earthquake could get that enough damage to knock it out. And right now, Collin, who thought he was in control, and I actually thought he was in control too, sadly lost that control, and now it's going to be back to the drawing board for both players. Great play by Nemanja there. Definitely a good decision to get rid of that Reuniclus and be able to set up those Dragon Dances.
How did the Dragon Pulse not finish it off? I want to see the HP. Someone call Nemanja right now. I want a confirmation on how much HP or how many hit points that Gyarados had left. Get him on the phone.
No, definitely. Probably hanging on barely. I don't even think that Nemanja trained his Gyarados to survive that many Dragon Pulses specifically. Maybe that's just Gyarados showing off how much bulk it actually has naturally. So, again, Nemanja, all he really needs to do is be able to shut down that Trick Room from getting up in order for him to have a fighting chance to bring one home for Germany right now. Collin, of course, he's definitely going to have to figure out a way to protect his Trick Room user in Reuniclus. Not going to let it get knocked out as easily as it did in the second game.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, Dwee. It's going to be really important if he does decide to go with Trick Room again. That is going to be crucial, possibly stopping the fake out from going down on its Trick Room user. Maybe not leading with it this time, or waiting until that Gyarados gets out.
Yeah, and Bisharp definitely paying huge dividends for Nemanja to be able to do so much massive damage to that Reuniclus, and going to be great to see how Nemanja is going to show off again. Again, all these tricks that Nemanja really has on his team have already been pretty well known to most people. Pretty much set up Gyarados for a sweep, and there you see it. Gyarados really sweeping the rest of Collin's team. So Collin's going to have to figure out a way to shut down that Gyarados as well. Doesn't look like... Needs to protect Rotom a lot better, that's for sure. Rotom, of course, really threatening that Gyarados. But if Gyarados can Mega Evolve and get that Mold Breaker off, it can fire off an Earthquake into Rotom, as we saw earlier when Aerodactyl Sky dropped the Rotom and got off the free Earthquake. So, going to be interesting to see how Collin reacts to this.
All right, I'm interested to see if we see some different leads here from both of our competitors. I did see them toss out the Pokemon here, and it looks like, I believe Nemanja is putting out the Pokemon first. There we go. Nemanja on the top there, tossing out 2 Pokemon with that really cute fedora. That super cute fedora there. And we also see from Collin, we got the Hydreigon Garchomp lead now. Our first appearance of Garchomp here. Interesting choice, but also a Meowstic as well as Aerodactyl.
Yep, Double Dragons. Really popular Pokemon choice right now in the metagame. Hydreigon, of course, we already saw that it's Choice Scarf. Going to be able to fire off an attack really fast. Of course, Meowstic really going to be an annoyance right now to Collin's team. Meowstic, of course, can paralyze that Hydreigon to slow it down, making that Choice Scarf pretty much useless. And the fact that Hydreigon will be locked into an attack doesn't help it at all. Aerodactyl really can't do much to Garchomp, though, as Garchomp can threaten Aerodactyl with Rock Slides or even fire off Dragon Claws. And Meowstick, of course, gonna just try to play support. Interesting to see that Collin didn't bring out Reuniclus this time, even though it worked for him in the first game. But maybe that's his adjustment right now, and figures that maybe instead of having that Trick Room setter that Nemanja is going to target down so much, he's just going to go straight for another attacker.
All right, so swaggering his own Aerodactyl there. Interesting. Oh, nice. Now we see it proc the Lumberry, which will, of course, snap him out of that confusion and give him that massive attack boost. So Aerodactyl going to be hitting like a truck, but the Dark Pulse onto Meowstick there. One shot faint.
Big knockout.
Yeah, huge knockout there early. With the Rock Slide from Aerodactyl. Oh, doing a lot of damage to Hydreigon, about 50% there. But the Rock Slide right back from Garchomp. Oh, doing huge damage to that Aerodactyl, and he faints. Both Aerodactyl and Meowstick going right back to Nemanja. Huge first turn for Collin. He takes a commanding 4-2 lead right now.
Yeah, two really fast knockouts on the first turn. Dark Pulse being able to do so much damage to that Meowstick. We see that Garchomp is actually Life Orbed, so that's also a factor as to why it did so much damage. A really cool strategy by Nemanja to be able to use that swagger onto his own Aerodactyl to get a free attack boost, but at the same time, probably would have enjoyed a Focus Sash there to prevent an early 4-2 deficit.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dwee. I love that setup. I know that Nemanja was trying to do something different, really mix it up, but it looked like Collin was just prepared.
Yeah, Collin really showing off this new side of his team where it's just super hyper offense, which actually dictated the metagame early on when X and Y first started.
All right, and we saw Raichu as well as the Gyarados come in here. Two Pokemon that we've seen before for Nemanja. And just waiting for the stream to catch up, and I will let you guys know what is going on. Oh, the Fake Out onto Garchomp. Takes a little bit of damage from that rough skin. The Dark Pulse going down again onto Raichu this time, holding on just barely in the yellow, and a Dragon Dance from Gyarados.
Yeah, we see that Nemanja in the first turn didn't decide to slow down that Hydreigon. Now Hydreigon's going to prove to be kind of problematic for Nemanja. So as we see Gyarados doing its thing, just getting up a Dragon Dance with that Raichu support with Fake Out, and Gyarados might want another one, but at the same time, it's not the best idea because right now it looks like it's just going to be Gyarados and Raichu versus the rest of Collin's team. So Raichu, of course, can always carry a Ice-type hidden power to threaten both Garchomp and Hydreigon, but still big hole for Nemanja.
All right, we do see Gyarados going Mega, switching types there, and the Mold Breaker going up. Dark Pulse right there onto that Raichu. He's going to get rid of him. And Gyarados Dragon Dancing again. He's not messing around. He's just Dragon Dancing all the time with that guy.
Yeah, Gyarados going to try to get as much boost as he can and try to set up another sweep, so going to be interesting to see what exactly happens with this.
And the Dragon Claw from Garchomp as well.
Yeah, right now, Gyarados can easily threaten both Pokemon and get the knockout with that Earthquake. Going to be interesting to see what Collin has in the back to see what he has to deal with this Gyarados. Gyarados right now going to prove to be a really, really huge asset because it's the only Pokemon left for Nemanja's side.
All right, he does pick up the feint on both Pokemon there. Huge hit. This actually could be a scary situation for Collin if he doesn't have something to deal with this Gyarados.
Yeah, we saw earlier how much damage that did to the Mawile, so even with an Intimidate, that's going to be interesting. It's still at +1, so that Earthquake's still going to do a massive amount of damage to whatever Collin decides to send out.
All right, the question is, will he potentially protect Trick Room? I'm not sure what we're going to see here.
Yeah, Reuniclus is pretty bulky, and I'm sure Collin's trained it to be as bulky as possible for a physical metagame, so Gyarados not going to be able to do too much, and I wouldn't expect to see a one-hit knockout right now on that Reuniclus. Going to be interesting to see, of course, Gyarados with that Dark typing now, going to be pretty weak to Mawile with that really, really powerful Play Rough, so Mawile's also a threat to Gyarados, so Collin going to have to see what he can do to get rid of this Gyarados as soon as possible, really.
Okay, looks like Collin's selecting his moves here.
This is gonna be a big turn, and really, Nemanja has to figure out what his best course of action is. Who is the bigger threat right now? Does he want to play in Trick Room, or does he want to try to get rid of that Mawile?
Yeah, this will probably be the most crucial turn. Not that all of them are super important, but it looks like this will be the biggest turn of the game here, deciding pretty much who is going to actually end up taking the match. All right, Mawile does go Mega. And Mawile ends up actually protecting there, exactly. And Gyarados Waterfall, though, predicting the protect. Is it going to be enough to get rid of you, Nicholas? No, he holds on.
Flinch chance. What was that flinch chance?
Oh, he could flinch, but he procs the Citrus Berry. He gets the Trick Room up. That's it. Mawile's going to go first. Oh, my gosh. Wow, what a turn.
Now it comes down to whether or not this Play Rough will connect with this Gyarados. Of course, Play Rough not the most accurate of moves, and usually misses when you really need it to hit.
Don't we all know it? Who hasn't done a Play Rough at a crucial time and had it miss?
We see Nemanja there going for the protect on Gyarados. Gonna try to play the RNG. Let's see if he can predict when exactly this Play Rough will be able to connect and when it will not be able to connect.
That's true. All right, there it is. We see the Play Rough going down. It's going to be enough to do the job, I think. Super effective. Gyarados faints. He goes right back to Nemanja, and we see a big lead from Team USA. Collin higher, getting the job done. USA goes up 1-0 in this best of 5.
Yeah, really, really great set coming from Nemanja. Gyarados, of course, showing that it is actually still a Pokemon to be reckoned with. Getting up some Dragon Dances, it's actually a very scary Pokemon to have to deal with, and could have easily swept the team, but that mini Trick Room coming out of the back with Reuniclus and Mawile definitely paid off for Collin. Great play by Collin, great play by Nemanja. Collin just did a bit better than Nemanja, and it definitely shows, and both players are players to watch, and you could probably expect both players to be at Worlds. I know for a fact that Nemanja will be at Worlds. Collin right now 5th in North American CP, so definitely a favorite to get a Worlds invite after U.S. Nationals next week.
Yeah, now, exactly what you said. Both of these players are having breakout years. It's been crazy for both of them, and they're incredible competitors. I think that, like you said, Collin made the big switch up there was Collin taking his team from this kind of like slow developing, like, we're gonna beat you in the long run team to this just like all out aggression. Really switched things up on Nemanja.
Yeah, changed the pace a bit with his 2 double dragon leads, and really, really paid off. So, great plays by Collin. And one thing to say about both players, they are very creative when it comes to team building. Collin really bringing back Trick Room, and Nemanja, I mean, look at this team right here. Raichu, Gyarados, Vivillon. Really, I mean, who would have seen that coming? You know, really, really creative players, and I really expect to see a lot more from both of them.
I agree with you there, Dewey. It looks like we're about to take a quick break, so Pokemon fans, we will see you in just a minute. I'm Justin Flynn with my co-captain, Dewey Ha. We'll be right back, guys.
See you guys.